Hello, I'm Scott Stevens, Goldsboro City Manager, here for our May monthly update, and I keep thinking there's not a lot going on, and then when I write my list there seems to be plenty to talk about. I will say spring is here. I hope you've recognized that. Center Street's in bloom and back to green, and a lot of activity downtown, so if you haven't been here in a while, we'd encourage you to come. I'll continue to remind all of us, trash in the community, we all need to do our part to pick up trash throughout the community. Where you can pick it up around your home or business, please do that. Where you need us to get involved in helping through our staff or code enforcement or other areas that you think need attention, please don't hesitate to call my office and report those areas at 580-4330. Again, my office 580-4330, and we'll be happy to do our part in helping. But it will take all of us to make Goldsboro the best it can be. So please stay aware of trash in the community and help us through that. We've had an anonymous donor give us money to reward employees. That was set up to be $500 per award, and we've had to catch that up a little bit this year, which has really been a nice time for us, and I hope a benefit or appreciated by our employees. We have a ton of folks doing great things. We have a few that we've recognized. I shared some last month. I would want to catch the others up, and one gentleman recognized was our safety person, and Keith Smith. He has been a construction inspector, long-term employee with the city. He's really juggled 2 jobs for about the past 10 months. He's done a very good job of helping our new inspector come on board while also setting up our city safety program, and so Keith was recognized in the month of April. We had Sergeant Doug Bethay out of the police department, heard of a child with Asperger's in the school system whose really aspiration was to have a police officer come and speak to the class and become, I guess police officers were sort of the superhero types for him, and Sergeant Bethay set that up for that individual, went to the child's school and class and really made an impact in that child's life, and so those are activities we certainly wanted to recognize as well. We had 2 employees at the Public Works Department working out of the garage that were moving from one place to another. Came upon a citizen who was broken down with a flat tire and stuck in the middle of the street. So Tyler Giddens and Clayton Williams helped that individual by stopping, taking some time out of their day and working to change the tire for that individual. And again, just want to say thank you to those officers for doing that. And we had another police officer, and Officer Parks, who helped with a case that occurred in downtown where a gentleman was assaulted, and really went above and beyond in terms of helping to solve the case, but also in working with the victim's family and keeping them up to date and showing that we do care about the victims of crimes that occur within Goldsboro. And again, hats off to Officer Parks. We also recognized Aaron and Elizabeth in our DGDC office, our Downtown Goldsboro Development Corporation office, really for their involvement in the Main Street Conference. Nobody knows the number of hours that those 2 ladies put in terms of making that event go. They had very long days during the conference and really showcased Goldsboro in a very positive light. So we recognize those 2 individuals as part of our Star Award. And then finally our IT staff, all of the members of the staff, Brad Hennett, Donald Moore, Darren Gorowski, Chris Ciccini, and Jamie Metz, were all recognized. Really, they do a great job for us all the time, but it happened to be relative to the Goldsboro Event Center that we opened in early March. Not only did they put in a lot of work on the IT side of the event center, but when it came time for the grand opening, we needed people to help clean the building and cover up holes that were still there and just make it presentable. And they all jumped in with the attitude that we would hope all of our employees would have, and just were excited to help make it look its best. And again, I do want to say thank you to all of our employees. They do a great job every day. We are very appreciative of our donor who is providing funding so we can give these employees some cash reward to say thank you on the city's behalf as well. I would also like to mention we had a loss of an employee, and Betsy Roseman, our Travel and Tourism Director, passed away unexpectedly the weekend of May 1st. Betsy was very well thought of by city staff and throughout the community. Our hearts go out and thoughts and prayers out to her family. Really a loss to us as well, and again, just want to keep Betsy and her family in our thoughts and prayers. Really enjoyed working with Betsy. She wouldn't want us to be sad too long. She was a very happy, positive person, and so we're working to be that same happy, positive group. But we do miss her. projects, a few things ongoing. The New Hope multi-use path is being extended really from Hare Road there at the church down New Hope Road almost out to Wayne Memorial. That is under contract and close to $800,000 of work that will extend that path, and so you'll see that work continuing. We've been talking about working with DOT to install a pedestrian crossing on John Street in the area of Jay's, Torero's, and the Shamrock. Again, just enough pedestrian traffic back and forth with vehicles there. We're going to remove some of the on-street parking and restrict that, and hope to have a pedestrian crossing installed in the coming months as well. A couple larger projects, again, both DOT projects, the Berkeley Boulevard widening. I think it's on schedule to finish this summer. We have had that the lanes narrowed down there just north of Old Navy for a much longer period of time than was originally anticipated, and it's really due to an AT&T utility conflict that was unexpected that they ran into, and we've been working with, or DOT's been working with AT&T to resolve that conflict. But I know AT&T is out there working as we speak, and so I think that you'll see more good progress on that project in the coming months, and hopefully finishing that up this summer. The US 70 bypass, as I understand, is still on schedule to open in the next month or so. So again, by June 1st, we should have the bypass open, which ought to be a help to most of us here in Goldsboro using the existing 70. So again, next month I hope we're talking about how that road is open and flowing to traffic. So other projects going on, but those are at least some of the highlighted ones. Downtown is still active. I mentioned earlier you ought to come downtown, but I know prom season, we have had hundreds, if not more than that, pictures taken of kids in proms posing out and posting on Facebook. We continue to have a high level of interest in downtown, of new businesses looking. We had 4 new folks in our office last week, or just yesterday, looking for places downtown. So again, it certainly is a time for downtown, and there seems to be a lot of good momentum, from festivals to shoppers, day and night, to the music playing along the sidewalks. Again, if you haven't been downtown in a while, there are a lot of great things in Goldsboro, but downtown is certainly one of those, and we'd encourage you to come be part of that. In terms of policing, a lot of activity still there, trying to reduce crime within our community. Some of those activities are just replacing equipment and simple things, but again, we do have 10 new patrol vehicles delivered to the city. It does take a few months to get them equipped with light bars, striping, computers, and radios, so that is ongoing, and you'll start seeing some of these new Dodge Chargers rolling out in the coming months very soon. So again, good activity going on there. Our police department is working with the Sheriff's Department, really trying to reduce crime throughout the community, but in particular trying to reach out to the community and have, beyond a national night out that's a one-time event. We've generally held that in late summer, where the Sheriff's Department, we've done it at Herman Park, and Police Department have had events. The Sheriff and the Chief had really talked about how about going to the community and doing some mini versions of that, where we go out and have a couple hours of a band, hot dogs, hamburgers, and just some relationship building time, so people get to know the police and fire department, or police department, Sheriff Department, and in a good light. So again, more of that to come, but our first event we're talking about is June 4th, so more to come, a Saturday, and trying to do something probably about 6 to 8 o'clock in the evening, working with the churches, as they are a big part of the effort of making that outreach. So more to come on that, but please be prepared to be part of that if you're able. And then of course, May is budget time for the mayor and council. Staff's been working on that January, February time frame. Finance department really February and March, and then the manager's office involved with finance March and April. And so we have just presented a recommended budget of $57 million to our city council at their May public discussion at their May 9th meeting. It is a $3 million increase over last year's budget. $1 million of that is just loan money, so again, it shows as a revenue, which increases our budget, but it's not a real increase over time. The other $2 million is $400,000 in new revenue, basically from a vehicle licensing tag of $10 per vehicle. And a business registration fee of $10 per business, and then we have some growth in revenue, which is a good sign, of about $1.6 million. So those are good things within the budget. In terms of a very short summary of the budget, there is no, well, start with council priorities. City Council has identified priorities in terms of important to them, and it's improved public safety. To me, that is police and fire. Appearance of the community, again, that's a continuing concern. Quality of life, and then preparing for future growth. So those are really our council priorities, and what limited discretionary money there is in the budget, we've really tried to direct at those 4 areas. And then in terms of just a quick summary, there is no proposed increase in the city property tax rate, there is no proposed increase in the municipal service district tax rate, or the occupancy tax rate, or our solid waste fee. So all of those would remain the same. We are proposing a slight increase in our utility fees, basically a 2.5% increase in sewer and a 1% increase in water, which equates to the average user of 4,500 gallons or 4,500 gallons per month, of about 60 cents a month. So we're talking about what I think is a very minor increase in terms of our water and sewer costs. We are talking about some new debt for the general fund, primarily related to vehicles and an aerial ladder truck. For the fire department of $1.5 million. We are talking about this business registration fee. Excuse me, it's $20 annually for businesses to register, so that we know who is operating within the city of Goldsboro. We're talking about a vehicle licensing fee of $10 per vehicle. And again, all of that money generated from the vehicle licensing fee would go back into additional street resurfacing or dirt street construction, and the council's interested in both of those. We have in the budget $500,000 for street resurfacing and almost $300,000 for dirt street construction, and then the council is working through a $7 million bond issuance to do additional street construction activity throughout Goldsboro. In terms of positions, we are recommending 448 positions. That is 4 more than our current year, and still in 2011 and 12 we were at 480 positions, so we are still less than our max positions, but still an increase of 4 positions. Then of those 4, we're talking about an inspector in engineering to help with all the ongoing sewer projects rather than paying an outside consulting firm more than that. A senior park technician to continue to help with turf management within our parks, as we've taken out of a lot more acreage, including some of the school systems, of park maintenance and grasses. And then a position for system integrity, one on backflow and one on the sewer side of trying to be more proactive in identifying problems within our sewer system, and on the water side trying to identify or help better on backflow, preventing devices, testing, and maintenance of those. In terms of health insurance, no changes proposed for city employees. We did move to the state health plan, so that is the plan that's offered to our city employees. Employee pay increases equate to about 3% of salaries, a 1% COLA, a 1% compression adjustment, meaning for if you've been here 5 years or more, you would get another 1% increase. If you've been here 1 to 4 years, our proposal is that you would get a one-time payment, and then a merit increase that would go into effect in January for our employees of 1%, which would be averaging, meaning some would get 0.5% and some would probably get 1.5% or 2%, depending on where they rank in our evaluation system. So with all of that said, a lot more discussion to come on the budget. Our budget public hearing is May 31st at 5 o'clock at City Hall. So if you have any questions on the budget, our budget will be online. I hope to have it on the city's homepage for you this week or the first week in May, so that you're able to see what the recommended budget contains. If you have any questions or comment, please don't hesitate to call the manager's office or our finance department. Manager's office again, 580-4330. We'd be happy to talk with you about that. A lot of activities coming up. I know our Parks and Rec department is gearing up for their summer camps. They have a Cruise the Noose coming up in the early first weekend of June. Continue to look at the city's Facebook and websites and our Parks and Rec department for activities, but they're there, and I would just encourage you to get involved. There is a lot to do in Goldsboro. You just sometimes need to look for that. As always, if you have questions or concerns or comment, please don't hesitate to give me a call. We're here to serve you, and we really enjoy working for you. So with that, I wish you a very happy May, and we'll talk to you next month.